Alvin Kamara would command a pretty penny. Alvin Kamara came out publicly talking about, hey, I'm tired of losing. Happy Thursday to you. National Football Show. What a day. What a 24 hours for the Philadelphia Eagles. National Football League. What a game tonight. I think it's a must-win for the Buccaneers tonight. You want to make a statement telling people that you're really relevant still in the NFC? You can't go to 3-5. You could still be in the race, but you can't go to 3-5. By the way, Big Sills has found that Howie Roseman is still working the phones. Many of you said yesterday, do you think Howie's done, Big Sills? I said no. And we're going to hit on some of those. What a day yesterday, 24 hours after the Robert Quinn move. We'll tell you the impact we think he has on the Eagles as quick as Sunday against the Steelers. There's no question about it, though. My question is going to still be Jonathan Gannon. My question so much so isn't, is Robert Quinn going to be somebody that could be impactful to the Eagles this coming season? My question is going to be, how is Jonathan Gannon going to use him? I'm still not sold, and I'm probably never going to be sold that this defensive coordinator is not Jim Johnson. Can you imagine Jim Johnson with this talent? Could you imagine Buddy Ryan with the Eagle defensive talent? I'll give you a better one. Can you imagine Dan Quinn with the Eagle talent? What would that D coordinator do? Shit, I'll even give you one simpler. What would Wade Phillips do? What would any good D coordinator, what would Raheem Morris do with the Rams with this talent? I'm just not sold on Jonathan Gannon. I probably never will be. No question about it. Still potential moves. I want to get to those. Still potential moves that are going to be made. Yesterday, we landed, as we were speaking, on Robert Quinn. We told you that Howie Roseman, by the way, I'm going to give you a little bit more history on why the deal didn't happen for Christian McCaffrey, and it's something that Xander Krause said. Xander told me this, hey, Sills, we have 2 second-round draft choices. Then he came back and he went, hey, man, just a correction and just for your notes, it's not in 2023, it's in 2024. Howie wanted to make one of those picks to try to get Robert Quinn and try to get the ability to be able to make that move. They wanted to be able to do that. And guess what? They were never able to do that because they wanted to make one of those picks in 2024. Just so you know, that's why that deal didn't happen with Christian McCaffrey. So again, that possibility there, again, of the whole scenario going down, he tried to get Christian McCaffrey. He tried to go out and get McCaffrey. And it just wasn't going to happen. So 2024, they wanted to use one of those picks, and I'm talking the Eagles. And that was just not going to happen. Okay, so here are some of the projections and some of the conversations that Howie has targeted still before we get to November 1st. These are still potential moves that Howie Roseman can make for this football team to create some depth. Are you ready? Okay. Chuck Clark, you'll see him tonight. Safety, Ravens. I haven't been able to find out the compensation on what the Ravens would want for him. But Chuck Clark, safety, has been targeted by the Philadelphia Eagles as a potential move to try to get him into an Eagle uniform. Obviously, they're still looking to upgrade that position because they don't feel comfortable with the depth. I'll tell you something else, too, that's pretty evident here. The Philadelphia Eagles believe right now that they are in the mix for the Super Bowl and they can win it. You clearly have to go here and understand Philly believes they can win it this year. They believe they can win it. Chuck Clark, I have not been able to find out the compensation, though. Kareem Hunt, they made another call last night. They've offered a third and a fourth for Hunt. Yesterday, it was a third and a fifth for Kareem Hunt, the running back for the Browns. And by the way, it's a contingency pick on that fifth, potentially becoming a fourth. So, at the end of the day, they are still targeting Kareem Hunt. Tavarius Moore, safety, 49ers, made another call to John Lynch. Talked to John Lynch last night. Fifth rounder, 2023, that is holding pat. Here is the new name to the mix. Darrell Williams, running back, Cardinals. I have not been able to find out the compensation for Williams. But Williams and Steve Keim and Howie Roseman are all in the loop that potentially he could be moved to the Philadelphia Eagles. Darrell Williams, running back. They played the Cardinals already. Obviously, they get DeAndre Hopkins back. And Steve Keim's looking for more draft choices. So, just to recap here. Chuck Clark, safety, Ravens. Kareem Hunt, running back, Browns. Tavarius Moore, safety, 49ers. And Darrell Williams, running back, Cardinals. Now, I'm not sitting here suggesting to you that there are not more names out there. This is just what I know, and I'm sure Howie has been burning the phone lines up. But these are just some of the names. You know, we mentioned Alvin Kamara, and I had a great conversation yesterday afternoon with Mickey Loomis. I've known Mickey Loomis probably for 25 years. Mickey Loomis did some work, obviously, in the World League, and that's where we go back. We go back that far. And I have known him for a long time. And he's one of the brilliant general managers, in my opinion, in the NFL. He is an absolutely great team builder. They need a quarterback. That is a number one priority for that football team. And you could see some of their assets being moved as we get closer to next week, November 1st. Alvin Kamara would command a pretty penny. Alvin Kamara came out publicly. He's talking about, hey, I'm tired of losing. Is that a smoke signal that he's been informed that potentially he could be moved? He made that comment either late yesterday or early this morning that I'm tired of losing. Personally, I think he's been informed that there's a potential he could be moved. So end of the day here, Alvin Kamara, what would he command? He's 27 years of age. He's a pass-catching freak. Alvin Kamara on that Eagle team, I think it puts you into conversation with the Bills as the best roster in the league. Even with the quarterback differential between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, that whole group of talent around Jalen Hurts would be better than what I think Josh Allen has. I don't really think Josh Allen has a running game. Hey, for the record, the Bills are in the conversation too for Kareem Hunt. But again, I mean, you don't really like to see AFC trading partners, especially when you know what's coming up on the horizon here. What's coming up on the horizon for the Cleveland Browns is Deshaun Watson. You want to put as much assets around him. Now, at the end of the day, bottom line here is this too. They're going to put draft choices because they need another wide receiver on the other side of Amari Cooper. And they're going to try to do everything they can to continue to build the football team around Deshaun Watson. A lot of these football teams need picks. Carolina needs picks. That's why they asking a king's ransom for Brian Burns. There's some teams actually out there that are willing to give 2 first-rounders up, but not in the same year. You know, Howie's not going to go, yeah, here's a 4 and a 32 for Brian Burns. That, to me, Brian Burns is a great player, but I'm not surrendering that. I'm not surrendering that. I may give you the 32nd pick and a number 2 in 2024, But I'm not giving you my first 2 rounders for Brian Burns. That's not working for me because I have an opportunity to parlay that as we get into the April draft of 2023. I'm not doing anything near that. Okay? Montgomery's a good back in Chicago, and I like him too. I like his story. I liked him when he was at Iowa State. Send New Orleans their first-round pick back to them. That's a number 4 pick for Alvin Kamara? Michael? No way. No way. No way am I surrendering that 4th pick for Alvin Kamara at 27. Not happening. At best, I would give you the 32nd pick. At best. Okay? Philiopolis, this isn't me. This is Howie. These are Howie's calls. Okay? I called DeCosta. I called Kareem Hunt's agent. I talked to John Lynch. I talked to Steve Conn. I've known these men 30 years. 30 years I've known these men. I do think the majority of these football teams are going to wait. Okay? I believe they're going to wait as we get closer to November 1. I know. I see the internet again. Hopefully it'll come around here. If not, we're going to take a short time out here because I want it to come back. So I look, I'm going to tell you flat out here. I think that Kareem Hunt is the target. Okay, Kareem Hunt's the target. But I believe that their wish list is Alvin Kamara. I've been saying Alvin Kamara now for 3 days. Okay? That helmet must be in the area. No, the helmet is gone, dude. Trust me. It's nowhere near my computer. Abanya Sills, I would get rid of the 32nd pick for Alvin Kamara. Me too. I would too. I might even give him another quality pick. By the way, that 4th pick that Robert Quinn was given up for, that's not a shit pick. 4th pick, that's a player that you could bring into your room and get a starter with. I agree. Danny. I think Alvin Kamara is the target. I completely agree with you. Any of these guys here float your boat here? Besides Hunt, obviously. Chuck Clark's a hell of a football player. I like him. Safety for the Ravens. Again, I haven't been able to find out what the compensation price is for him. I'll probably know that a little bit later on today. Tavarius Moore is a 5th rounder. He's a safety also for the 49ers. And Darrell Williams, running back, Cardinals. I haven't been able to find out. And again, these are just 4 dudes that I know of that Howie has reached out for and talked to some of the general managers. I will give you some insight now with the Cowboys. As you guys know, my relationship with the Cowboys is pretty strong, especially with the front office. And Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones are monitoring what's going on with the Eagles. And they see that they have to make counter moves. The Cowboys are in the market for a wide receiver right now. And Claypool with the Steelers could be on that list. They've contacted the Steelers, and they are trying to work a deal to try to get Claypool. Now, I don't believe that the Cowboys have the money or the resources to do it. What are they going to surrender? They're already wedged against the salary cap. They're going to have to make a B move. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to try to land on somebody and pray you get something out of them. The Cowboys just don't have a lot of lateral movement where they can move because of salary issues. This is something that's playing into the favor of the Cowboys. Look, the difference between the Dallas Cowboys right now is the quarterbacks. When you're in a position right now to potentially try to upgrade your football team and your roster, your quarterback's salary dictates what you can and can't do. When the Cowboys went out and paid him $42 million a year, it kind of handcuffs them a bit on what they can and can't do.
The Eagles, on the other hand, you're paying your quarterback less than what you're paying Zach Pascal. Think about that. Think about the unbelievable position that the Philadelphia Eagles are in. And get this, I'm not even mentioning the 6-0 start. Your quarterback is outplaying Dak Prescott. And you know what you're doing? You're saving $41 million of decision-making that Dallas can't make, that you can. You got $41 million worth of operating space. The Cowboys don't because they're paying that guy. And they're not getting the production out of that guy. I'll tell you this. The Buccaneer game and what I saw against the Lions so far, I have not been impressed with Dak Prescott. Plus, he's been injured again. Hey, man. The Eagles have the opportunity to continue to maneuver here. I believe they're like $4 million still under the salary cap. So they're still operating moves here, but now it's becoming limited unless you want to go out and you want to start restructuring contracts. Hey, would it shock you if you went out and you saw that restructuring of Lane Johnson's contract so they could try to get a little further under the cap so they can go up and get Kareem Hunt? Darrell Williams is cheaper. That's why they're looking at Darrell Williams. He fits in the cap. Remember, this is a chess game here. This is a chess game. Eagles need a punt returner and kick returner. Darrell Williams can do that for you, my friend. He can do that for you. Do you think the Cowboys can get to the NFC Championship game? Steve, I do. But they got to upgrade their offense. And they got to get better play out of Dak Prescott. They got to get better play out of him. Dak can't turn the football over, and CeeDee Lamb and him have to kick it up a gear. Or guess what? You're not going to continually win games playing defense. You're just not. You're not the Ravens defense. You know what I'm saying? You're not the Buccaneer defense here. You're good. And I do believe you're still the best defensive team in the NFL. But the Eagles have clearly closed that gap. You know, and people got their panties in a bind when I said the Cowboys are the number one defense in the league. They are. But here's the difference. The Cowboys may have the number one defense, but the number 26th offense. The Eagles have the number one offense in the NFC, and they got the number 2 defense. Shut up. Relax. Very seldom in league history do you have both units the best in the league. Very seldom. Most of the time, you're happy to be in the top 10 with one or the other. Well, we're the number one offense, the number one. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're not. But as a unit and as a roster, you're the best. Relax. This is about rosters now. Who can withstand the war of attrition? You're now in the part of the season where depth becomes an issue. You know, people were saying this yesterday, and they were doing this. Well, how about Andre Dillard and Jack Driscoll? Who in their right mind would trade Jack Driscoll, Andre Dillard, or even a Gardner issue right now when you know that those two people right there are your big security blankets? You know those guys are your security blankets. Okay? You know this. I know our internet's struggling a little bit again here. Hopefully it comes back again here too, so hang with us, guys. We appreciate you stepping in. Also, too, I'm going to talk about the impact of Robert Quinn. I had some great conversations with people when it came to Robert Quinn, and it came to Quinn's impact on the NFL and what people are doing to him this year. So hang in there. Just want to tell you again, Howie's working the phones. Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Popcorn. Howie's working the phones. Wouldn't doubt if he's out there in search of a backup tight end, too. Okay? He's in the market looking for a backup tight end. I don't think Roquan Smith, Howie wants to surrender that second-round pick. Bears want a number 2 for him. Okay? Bears want a number 2. Guys, please hit the like button. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. All right. God, a lot of great news. By the way, we didn't get to a bunch of stuff yesterday. Top 10 prospects for Howie next April. We'll take a look at the 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, week 8 of the National Football League. It tees up tonight. Boatload of stuff. Boatload of stuff. Again, my number one concern is coordinator for Robert Quinn. Okay? Gonna get to it. What do you guys make of him going after Christian McCaffrey? The only reason that the deal didn't get done is because Howie wanted to use one of the twos in 2024, or McCaffrey would be on the Eagles. What does that tell you? Tells me this. Howie Roseman is sold on Jalen Hurts. He is 100% sold on Jalen Hurts. And he believes he can win a Super Bowl this year. That conversation, again, not sitting here talking money about Jalen. The Eagles are sold. They're comfortable with him. Unless something changes on the way to the finish line this year. And by the way, I don't think he has to win a playoff game or get to the NFC title game. I think he's played well enough because look at what they're doing right now. You got 11 games left. You got 11 ball games. And they're talking about moving 2s, 1s, 4s. They were going to move a 2 for McCaffrey. They called Carolina for Brian Burns. One of the first calls that was made as they got closer to the trading deadline was for Brian Burns. But other teams stepped up and offered more. There's teams out there offering 2 1s for him. Howie's not giving 2. He probably bailed on that. That's why he landed on Robert Quinn. He's like, oh, no, not for me. It's too rich. 24-year-old kid, I don't know if that's too rich. A 32 and a 3 for that kid? But then again, other teams parachuted in and are willing to give 2 1s. Carolina needs draft choices. They want to get a quarterback too. They're going to get one of those quarterbacks that's going into the 2023 April draft. Okay? And this is a prime example, guys, of what happens when you're making these calls. Teams just outbid you. Look at San Francisco. San Francisco wanted Matthew Stafford. That's why when I throw something out on Twitter that I'm hearing that Matthew Stafford, which turned out to be true, the 49ers inquired to Detroit about Matthew Stafford. What happened? The Rams outbid him in the end. The Rams came in and outbid him. They outbid him. So it happens that's why you wait to the very end and you get closer to November 1st. Okay? The only move that means they're sold on Hurts as a franchise quarterback is if they start giving up first-round picks. JM, they offered a first-rounder up for Brian Burns. I just said that. They offered to give up a 1. They offered to give up a 2 for McCaffrey. Okay? Edge rusher, running back. And I say safety. That's what Howie is going to land. His next move before November 1 is either going to be a running back or safety. Mark my words. Mark my words. Okay? Mark my words. He couldn't get McCaffrey, so now he's after Hunt and the kid from the Arizona Cardinals. He couldn't get Burns, so he landed on Quinn for a 4. Is that a Super Bowl move? Yet to be determined. Yet to be determined if that's a Super Bowl move. I agree, Willie. In Howie's mind, I do believe that he's pushed the chips in. I do. I do believe it. Nationally, we didn't get a chance to talk to Jason Cole, so that'll be in hour number 3. We're also going to try to hook up with John McMullen. He's at Eagle practice. Keep giving your comments here. All right, I want to throw this at you now. What do you think the impact that Robert Quinn will have as he now is a Philadelphia Eagle? By the way, I talked to Butch Davis, who recruited him at Carolina. He played for Butch. Butch Davis was the head coach at UNC when he recruited him. And I'm going to give you some insight on Robert Quinn. Now, you got to remember something about Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn and the dealings that they had with trying to recruit him is one of the reasons why Butch Davis and many of those people that were in that building were fired because why? Illegal recruiting. This guy was a sought-after kid. Now, he even has a heart condition. That didn't sway Butch. Medical people told him. They were always monitoring it. Butch says this kid is a great football player. And he still got gas in the gas can. Butch Davis talks to Robert Quinn all the time. I'm having Butch try to get in touch with Robert Quinn so we can have him on the program too. But he says he was a force at UNC. He was a great football player. Tenacity. Everything you want in a football guy. And when you look at the numbers and you look at what has happened to him this year, the bottom line with him is that he was the most double-teamed guy in the National Football League, according to NFL stats. They didn't have Khalil Mack on the other side. Okay? They didn't have Mack on the other side. Now you got a pass rusher on the other side. I expect his production to go up exponentially here now in Philly. I think you're going to see last year's Robert Quinn now have an impact on the Eagle defense and close that gap between DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons even more. That defensive line in Chicago is atrocious. And when you got rid of Khalil Mack and Mack to the Chargers, there was nobody to protect them. You're doubling and running away from them. You're doubling and running away from them. That's the problem that you had in Chicago. That's why you see limited numbers. You see limited numbers because there was nobody else on that defensive line. Okay? There was just nobody else on that D-line. Guys, I appreciate it. Please hang in there. The internet's going in and out a little bit on us here. So we expect it to come back here in a second. I got you, man. Hang in there. Gannon said that Quinn is not going to back up safety. Thank you. Bottom line, I think he's going to have a massive impact. Bottom line, I don't know how Gannon's going to use him. That'll be my major issue, is watching how they use him. Are they going to use him more on first down personnel? Are you going to start him? Who loses reps? To me, I would open it up. Whoever has the most production is going to be my starter. That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. But you got to hand it to Howie here, man. 4th round pick, and the majority of the money is being picked up. It's a salary dump by Chicago. Plus, you know what I really think? Can I tell you? I really think the Chicago Bears wanted to send him to a place because they had great respect for him in Chicago. And he was a great teammate. You know, when you see somebody being sent to the Philadelphia Eagles like that, or a winning operation, that traditionally means that they have great respect for you and how you conducted yourself. Okay? Eagles can't wait for Gannon screws the pooch on this season. I don't think they want him to fail. Jesus, who would want the coach to fail? Nobody wants to. By the way, I say this about Gannon. I don't want him to fail. Why would I want him to fail? Brian says, hey, Dan, you're all over the place on Twitter. Eagles win the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. And Ravens won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. That's not all over the place. As a matter of fact, it's been one of the most consistent things that I have said since March. Oh, by the way, I didn't say win Super Bowl. I said get beat in the Super Bowl by the Bills. I said get beat. I didn't say win. I said get to, by the way, Brian. That's been actually one of the most consistent things that I've said here, is that the Eagles will make it to the Super Bowl and win the NFC since March. Go back and watch it. Brian, you said Eagles won't win the Super Bowl with Hurts. I did. I said the Eagles will get beat by the Bills. And I've been saying that since March. Anything else? Oh, I think the team, if you land Kareem Hunt or Alvin Kamara, that thing gets closer. Absolutely. But he's not good enough to beat Josh Allen. With Josh Allen, you need another component. You need to have more talent on your offense to beat the Bills than what the Bills need, because the quarterback's better. And by the way, I'm not talking about, it's the second year. I'm talking about today. Today, Jalen Hurts can't beat Josh Allen. Not happening. Now, you add Alvin Kamara to the conversation. Now we're talking difference. Because then you got weapons everywhere. Kamara, AJ. Bills don't have this. Goddard, Devonta. The ability to run the ball RPO. Okay? Your defense will get takeaways. That's always a hit or miss stat. I wonder if any team has ever led the NFL in takeaways 2 years in a row. I've actually never seen that. Dallas is rumored to get DJ Moore. How are they paying for him? With what money? The Cowboys have no room on their cap to do something. They'd have to restructure Dak's deal today to try to make a move. They got to. What, you're going to give Dak Prescott more guaranteed money when you're not sold that Dak Prescott's the guy? Even though you're overpaying him? So you're overpaying him and you want to give him more money. I'm not saying that that's what you would do, but that's the conventional thinking. Well, Dallas has to make a move now because what Philadelphia is doing. Really? So you're going to give a guy who's not playing as good a football as Jalen Hurts, who's making 1.4, you're going to give that guy more guaranteed money? I'm not. Big Seals, what weapon do the Bills have other than Allen and Diggs? That's all they need, dude. That's all they need. Dude, Allen is superior to Jalen. I don't think you're understanding the gap. Well, give Jalen 3 more years. Okay, I'm talking today. October 27th, 2022. Not some fantasy conversation. Today, he's nowhere near Allen. And you know this. Do you agree that defense wins championships? Not in today's NFL, not any longer. I think it's harder to play defense today than it's ever been. Shit, I don't even know what a sack is, Forte. I have no idea what even a sack is. No idea. So Diggs is better than Jefferson? No. He's as good as A.J. Brown. So we can compete. We can compete. Yeah, you're not going to beat them, but you can compete. Steven, Allen, Mahomes, and Burrow are all head and heels and shoulders above the rest of the league right now. Correct. That's the point. And it's no shade. By the way, I got Jalen Hurts third right now in the MVP conversation. It's no slant on him. He got him as the 4th best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. Jesus criminy. Your guy's gone from being like in the 20s to 4th. Lighten up. Lighten up. You got the 4th, get this. Get the 4th best quarterback. You got the best offense in the NFC. You got the second best defense, and you're bitching? Oh, we're not. Sills doesn't think we're number one on defense. Dude, shut up. You sound idiotic and childish. There's very few complete teams in the league. Eagles are one of them. And by the way, Jalen's play, once again, and one thing you're dead on right about, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles haven't played anybody. Shit, Brady played nobody for 20 years in the AFC East. You know, I've been kind of jabbing you a little bit on that they haven't really played anybody. Well, who the hell did Brady play for 20 years in the East? The Jets? The shitty Dolphins? Who did they play? Okay? We have the best quarterback. No, you don't. Someone tags Hurts so he can hear this himself. He needs to hear it. What, he's not better than Burrow, Mahomes, and Allen? Not a problem. Not a problem. If you want to send it COD. Who has anyone played this season? Correct, Steven. Jalen Hurts has outplayed Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Their offense is better. Brady's O-line, wouldn't shock me if the Bucs get beat tonight. Drew says Hurts wouldn't care. I don't know. His mom comes on all the time to watch what we say. Respect, Mrs. Hurts. Respect. Your son's really playing great. Jalen Hurts' mom comes to our show. We pretty much know that because I get tweeted at with it. His mom comes to our show every day. So obviously she goes back and tells him. I don't know. What do you think? She's actually said hi a couple times on the program. Yeah, Dominique, I know you don't like to hear that, but Jalen Hurts' mom watches the show. She's a fan of the show, actually. And at the end of the day, I guarantee I'm probably going to get, I told you so. Hurts is not elite. He's unique. Thank you, Steven. Thank you. Appreciate it. Where's your Hurts? Richard, Big Sills ain't wearing that hat until we actually play a season. We played 6 games, not a season. Okay? Drew says he doesn't see. Drew, Drew, they may listen. I never said it bothers them. You added that to my comment. I never said it bugged them. Okay? Hurts is beyond delete. Okay. So there are your names. Howie's working the phones, man. He really is. By the way, I do want to hit on the top 10 NFL prospects and where Howie Roseman can go with those first-round picks in April. We got a list of them here. They were just handed to us here. And we got it yesterday. Bledsoe sent us this top 10 list of the best players. And currently right now, the Eagles have the 4th pick. Okay? Would they parlay that down? Would they move down? Would they take one of these players? We'll do that here in a minute here, too. We're going to get to it. Joshua says, Sills, Robert Quinn is double-teamed the most in the National Football League. That's why I think Howie, when he looked at only 1 sack, and I had to do some diving into it, he was the most double-teamed guy so far this season. Absolutely. I expect that number to go up big time. And I expect, by the way, I expect the impact to be on Hassan Reddick pretty big. Reddick is also going to be a factor now, too, because you got another guy on the other side. Josh Sweat without cutting it. He's not cutting it as a pass rusher. He is not an every down D lineman that we hoped he would be. You know, I was hoping that he would turn into an every down defensive lineman. Josh Sweat is not turning into an every down defensive lineman. Okay? He's not. I do believe Quinn is going to eat too. Quinn gives him depth. Yeah, but Danny, I also think that he also gives him talent. You know what I'm saying? Dude, Robert Quinn can play still. He's a professional pass rusher. He's a guy who, if you have another person on the other side, again, my question's going to be Dan Quinn. Okay? It's going to be Dan Quinn. Joshua, Sweat has underperformed. I totally believe he has. Been saying it about Josh Sweat. Dude, he's got to pick his game up. And that's why they made a move for defensive end. Would they make a move for another edge rusher? I think they feel comfortable with this move. By the way, man, what are they paying on this deal? $771 or something like that I saw? $770,000 or something like that. Some crazy number, right? Wow, man, what a steal. And it's a rental. So you know what Howie did? Hey, am I okay giving up a fourth rounder for a rental? He said yes. That's a championship move. Watch this. I don't know if it pans out. I just know this. Good for him for trying. Dude, I love general managers that just do this kind of shit. And they just go about their business going, well, I'm not going to sit here on my hands when I'm this close. And everyone in the NFC sucks. Okay? Do you think we get Kamara? I think it's going to be a pretty good price tag to get Kamara out of New Orleans. And again, Mickey Loomis has already done a lot of bit. By the way, man, that's CJ. CJ, man, I don't know how New Orleans let that guy go because he is a very good football player and he brings an attitude. Ever since they have implemented CJ in the secondary of the Eagles, that Eagles has a whole different complexion back there. And they look like they're playing tough football back there. And there's an identity now. Between Bradbury, CJ, and Darius Slay, if I'm Howie Roseman, I don't want to disrupt that. I do not want to disrupt that. I want to add a safety. I want to add some depth back there. But to me, the secondary has been the storyline so far in the first 6 games for the Eagles. I agree. Avid, what a steal. That kid is a ball player. See, the idea when you're making moves like that, dude, you want a productive kid. He is. And the Bradbury deal, so you're telling me the New York Giants let that guy roll out of the building because you were bitching over $4 million? Boy, I'll tell you, if you kept Bradbury on that defense with the way New York is playing on defense, how did you let him just not – who are you about? You know, sometimes when you make those transitions from one organization to another, when you're firing Dave Gettleman and you're bringing other people in, sometimes guys, they fall through the cracks like that. I'll tell you something else too. CJ may have fell through the cracks too. Why? Dennis Allen, Sean Payton, all of that. You know, that it may have fallen through. If you notice, some of these teams that Howie has made moves with have been going through transition. Nick Sills, why does Quinn look 54? I don't give a shit what he looks like, as long as he's on top of a quarterback. Sills, the Eagles secondary is top 3 right now. Absolutely. I agree 100% with you on that. 100%. Okay? Imagine Quinn's energy from being on a winning – absolutely important what you just said there. Absolutely. The energy now going from a shitty team like Chicago with no help on the other side to now you having a top flight opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. Look what it did for Von Miller. Von Miller was running out of gas in Denver. He was running out of gas. Look what it did when they moved him to Los Angeles. All of a sudden, Aaron Donald picked his game up. All of a sudden, they started getting to the quarterback. Dude, he was a factor in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. So much so, it got him one more paycheck in Buffalo. Don't you think Robert Quinn is seeing the same stuff? Dude, if it was good for Von Miller, this guy's got 100-plus sacks himself. This guy's got 100 sacks in his career. He may have He may be one of the more underappreciated pass rushers over the last decade. Look what it did for Von Miller. It rejuvenated his career. It rejuvenated his career so much so. Look at what he signed for in Buffalo. Now, you can keep shitting on the pick all you want. People can keep shitting on Robert Quinn. I'm good with him. I had a great conversation once again with Butch Davis about him. He said, this guy's a player. And you have another guy like Butch said this. You got Hassan Reddick on the other side. You know what Butch said? I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up this year with 10 sacks. I was like, he's got one. He goes, Sills, I'm telling you, I would not be shocked if Robert Quinn ends up with 10 sacks this year. Dude, you get 10 sacks out of a fourth pick. Okay? You get 10 sacks out of a guy who you surrendered a fourth pick for, and you basically had to pay no money for. Jesus. Unbelievable. Dude, look at this. Kaiser White's a player. CJ's a player. Robert Quinn, I agree. Let's see. Man, you've added players. Do you know how rare it is to like hit on everybody? He's hitting on everybody. He's totally hitting on everybody. I'm talking to GM. He's hitting on everybody. The starting 22, Brian, is insane because in a year where nobody has 22, it's remarkable. I want to show you this. Name me a team that has a better 22 than the Eagles, including Buffalo. Quarterback's a difference up there in Buffalo. Who's got a better 22? Chiefs don't. Chargers don't. Bucks don't. Maybe when healthy. Packers surely don't. Cowboys don't. I don't even know who's on the offense with the Cowboys outside of CD. Nobody. CD overrated. CD Lamb's a good player. He ain't what they think he is. I'm sorry. He's not. And Dak ain't who they think he is. They added Quinn for depth. It was a much-needed piece, says Skwansky. But dealing with a hamstring, you're one injury away from D-line going to crap. I don't know about that. I would say this to you, though. Fletcher and Hargrave have to pick up their game. They have to pick their game up. They're not playing great. I don't think they're playing great. You know, I keep hearing people go, hey, Sills, you know, the Eagles are 9th in sacks. Yeah, because they had 9 in one game. Fool's gold. Howie saw it. His actions speak to that. He knew it. I know some of you are out there going, well, we're 9th in sacks. Those are shitty stats again. You guys like throwing around. Even the general manager knew better. Even the GM knew better. CD and Dak are overrated like Irvin and Aikman. Yeah. It's always smart to hear someone say that when they dominated you and they dominated the NFL, winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Hey, JM, don't try to be that dumb sometimes on the show. Okay? It stops me from talking to you when you get that ignorant. They destroyed the Eagles, the triplets. They won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Overrated? You couldn't beat them. Oh, yeah, with their O-line. Well, then there's no excuse for you. Because you have basically the same O-line that Smith, Aikman, and Irvin had. You better win 3 and 4 years then, right? You got the O-line. I see. So Irvin, Aikman, and Smith, who are 3 Hall of Famers, are overrated. And you say it's their line, But when I say something about Jalen and AJ or Devonta, you say it's them and not the O-line. Got it. Bob says, Big Seals, gun to your head. You making a push for Roquan or Burns. I just think that Howie's not going to go there and surrender a one for Burns. I just don't. Okay? I just don't see him going, here's a one and then another one for a defensive end. I just can't see that. I just can't. Okay? Leo goes biased when you're talking about a team that won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Biased? Okay. yeah, I'm biased. Well, no, they won 3 Super Bowls. And by the way, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm no fan. I've told you this. I don't root for any team. I don't know what you're talking about. By the way, Jalen Hurts is now a Phillies fan, huh? When he was a lifelong Astros fan. That's a bullshit artist. Okay? And I get what he's doing, and I'm not really, it's not a thing for me. But don't be, hang in there. So your entire life, you're an Astros fan, like Jalen is. And all of a sudden now he's a Phillies fan. I'm not buying it, and I don't believe it. Okay? At least I tell you the truth. I'm not a fan of anybody. Not a fan of anybody. But Jalen's now a Phillies fan. Yeah, I play in Philly. So what? If you ever got dealt to where? The Packers. You're going to be a Brewer fan? Okay. Hey, you sound like Hillary Clinton. Big Dan, would you give up 2 first rounds for Parsons? Dude, for Michael Parsons? I think you're going to need more than 2. Okay? I think you're going to need more than 2. Would you give 2 ones up for Micah? Yeah, okay, yeah. Bob, it's not, or Steven, it's not a big deal, man, that he's rooting out for the Phillies. I thought it was funny and how sometimes you get caught in that. That's why when people come here all the time, now you're an Eagle fan? No. I'm a fan of the Eagles. Fans. I've told you this. I like fan bases more than I like teams. You never get in trouble when you really start talking to people and you have dialogue. Dude, we've been talking for 2 years now. I've become friends with many of you now. Okay? But to sit there and go, hey, I outly root for the Eagles is a lie. But now Jalen he's a Phillies fan. Oh, okay, I got it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got it. Willie goes, did you see Kelsey down that beer during the baseball game? Totally dope. Hey, by the way, I do believe Kelsey's a Phillies fan. I think that guy loves the city so much, man. I think he probably even roots for the Union. I don't root for soccer, but I guarantee you he roots for anything Philly, dude. Okay? Jalen isn't even a baseball guy. I don't think he cares for MLB. Leo, it was just something again. I saw it and I was like, oh God. He fell into you're playing in Philly, so now you got to root for everybody in Philly. No, you don't. People respect you more if you're just transparent with it, going like this. Hey, look, man, I got to be neutral in this one. That's how I would have done it. I would have went like this. I'm neutral, man. I was a diehard Astros fan. Now I'm playing in Philly. I can't root against the Phils. So get this. I'm going to sit this one out and just be a fan. Maybe that could have been better of an answer, but now he's a Phillies fan. It doesn't really go over, I can't think, with anybody. Yeah, the only reason it goes over is because he's 6-0. That dude was 2-4. They'd be like this, get that bum out of here. He said he has love for both. Yeah, that's what Philly does. They like to root for 2 different teams. That's what all the fans in Philly does, right? Hey, fair comment. Philly's about to pay him $230 million. Hey, that's what I would say. Hey, man, Okay? I get it. Dude, it's not a thing. It's not a thing, but he got caught bullshitting a little bit. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Avid Seals, come on. You really think one Defensive Player of the Year and a push for Defensive Player of the Year warrant Parsons for lottery picks? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. What, you think you're going to get Michael Parsons for one first-rounder? You think if somebody called the Dallas Cowboys and goes, hey, here's one first-rounder, don't you think 31 teams would be calling the NFL, calling the Cowboys up going, hey, I'll give you my first-rounder for Michael Parsons? Hey, by the way, if you want to throw in two, I'll take them. Seriously, right? So what, you don't think Howie Roseman would give up the 32nd pick for Michael Parsons? Come on, man. Take a little more than that. Take a little bit more than that. Holy cow, man. Dude, my problem once again is going to be your D coordinator. My problem is going to be on how this guy uses him. Do you start him? Do you try to do everything you can to put him in? I start him. I start him. Or how about this? Dude, I give him 60%, 65% of the reps on 3rd and long this weekend. Can you imagine? You got an inexperienced quarterback in Pittsburgh. This is such a great opportunity for the Eagles to pad their stats. This is another padding of stats. Now, look, Mike Tomlin's a hell of a coach. They're going to be ready to rock. They're going to play. They're not going to let go of the rope. Pittsburgh doesn't do that. Okay? Pittsburgh's going to play. And if you ain't ready to play coming out of the bye, you could be stunned a little bit, at least in the first half. I get Robert Quinn in the game as fast as I can. I put his ass in there. I would totally start him. Yeah, a big picking. There's no question he plays on Sunday. The question is, how much? Steven goes, Daniel has 12 touchdowns, more than Danny Jones has in one less game. Tomlin has that dark cloud after bringing in Flores. Not true. Brian Flores is a hell of a coach. Brian Flores is a hell of a coach. Hell of a coach. How many turnovers do you think we forced this week? I don't think they're going to play high turnover offense on Pittsburgh. They're going to try. Here, the only way Pittsburgh wins that game, if they keep the score down. Because they don't have any offensive output. Even though, hey, by the way, even though they may have had the steal of the draft at wide receiver and that guy Pickens from Georgia, I personally don't think that they're going to want to have that score as low as it could possibly be because it only gives them a chance to win that game. Only way it gives them a chance to win. Has Daniel Jones threw for 200 passing yards yet this season? David, no, but he was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week this week. See what David just said? Has he thrown for 200 yards? No, but he was named NFC Player of the Week. Yes, Daniel Jones, that guy. That guy in New York was named the NFC Player of the Week offensively. Sills, what's the word on Howie's next move? Leo, I wrote down 4 more names. We'll reset that as well, too, at the top here. But I also want to take a look. Hey, we got Week 8 coming up. Also, the NFL's top 10 prospects. This is not where they're going to go. These are the 10 best players as of today that Howie could take a look at and where they're ranked. Right now, currently, the Eagles sit in a 4-hole. Okay? Eagles sit in a 4-hole. I think Daniel played pretty good last week, too. He threw for 207, ran for 107 last week. Touchdown rushing, touchdown passing. Maniac. Maggie. Haven't done that in a bit. Wait until he sees the Eagles. This is going to be a really interesting ball game coming out of the bye. I want to see how they handle themselves here coming out of the bye. They won't win this week. Will Anderson will fall to Philly. Yeah. Will Anderson fall to Philly? Will Anderson. All right, let's take a look at that. Hit the like button. Hour 2. National Football Show. Keep it here.